Here's a pitch from Nix. Hit right side, and the second baseman gobbles it up, and Clark throws to first, and he got a nice play. That ball was headed toward the outfield grass, and Clark dove to his right and made the play. So a 3-up and 3-down for Banks County at the top of the first inning. No score between the Dogs and the Leopards in the second round of the state playoffs. A Waiwata 1. So they're wearing the red with the blue jerseys. First pitch in on the ground to Lane Adams. A bunch of hops. He scoops it up. He throws to first. 1 down. And, of course, he has struck out as many as 15 this season in one ball game. Pitch is hit up in the air to George Lukey, drifting off to his right. He settles under it. He makes the catch. 2 down. The winner of this series gets the winner of Dodge County and Callaway. The Bulldogs have played both of them in the past. Here's a pop-up right side into the outfield grass. Dalton McBride, the right fielder, catches it for an easy 3-up and 3-down for D.R. Meadows and the Toombs County Bulldogs. We got a pitcher's duel after 1, and no score between the Dogs and the Leopards. A Waiwata 1. Here comes Lane Adams, a lefty against a righty, followed by Brock Harrison and Brandon Helton. No score, top of the second in Homer, Georgia. First pitch on the way from Nix is hit into right field, and it drops in for a Bulldog base hit. Lane jumping on the first pitch fastball that was up. And Lane strokes his 28th hit of the season, and he comes in now with a 3-game hitting streak because he went 2 for 3 against Laney in Game 1 and 2 for 2 in Game 2. And the count is no balls and 1 strike on Cole Graham. Here's a stretch, here's a pitch, hit into the air, into center field. Rogers coming in, the ball drops in for a base hit. Here's a throw to third, safe there. 0-1 pitch gets away, runner break it in from third. Lane Adams will score with a slide. 1 ball, no strikes on deck is D.R. Meadows. It's 1-0 Bulldogs in the top of the second, and 2 outs. Second pitch to Martin, swings and hits it, 1-hopper by the first baseman into right field. That scores 1 dog as Brock Harrison touches home. And coming to the plate is Trey Cloud to make it 3-0 Dogs. Martin Stevens drives in his 11th and 12th runs of the season. If you score that a base hit, and I guess you would, it was a tough hopper over to Judd Roberts near the first base bag. So Martin continues his hot hitting in the postseason. It's the first time many of these Dogs, other than D.R. Meadows, have ever played in the postseason. 2-0 pitch, popped up in the air, center of the diamond into the outfield grass. Can somebody get to it? George Lukey comes in, makes the catch, looks back toward first, and Disharoon has to slide back. So 2 strikes on Millwood, 1 down runner at first. Here's a D.R. Meadows pitch hit on the ground, left side. Lane Adams gobbles it up on a dive, throws to second base, and they got him! What a play by Lane! That ball was headed into that 5-6 hole, and Lane dove to his right, made the play, got up and threw it to Noah Anderson, who was standing on the second base bag to get the lead guy. Let's go. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. D.R. looks back towards second. Here's the pitch. Hit right side, and it is going to drop in for a base hit. Dalton McBride has a good arm. Here comes a runner. Here's a throw from Kyle Knight to the dish, and it's late. And the Leopards score. That leadoff walk eventually scores in its own way. So it's 3-1 Bulldogs. Dalton, of course, missing spring football practice. Ashley has been the only QB. There's a liner into left center field for Dalton McBride, base hit. And that'll bring up George Lukey. Here's the stretch. Here's the pitch. Hit into center field. Rogers drifting back. Rogers goes up, jumps, and he dropped the ball. Here comes Dalton McBride to third. Coach Fitzgerald will hold him, and Lane Adams will stop at second. Rogers went back, jumped up in the air, had the ball in the glove, and then as he was coming down, he lost it. So runners on second and third. 1 ball, 1 strike. Harrison has hit 8 doubles this season. At one point in time, half his base hits were doubles. No triples, no homers this season. and he hits it right up the middle. Base hit. That scores Dalton McBride. And here comes a throw in. Runners on first and third, and Brock drives in his 21st run to put the Bulldogs up 4-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hit up high into the air. This might be deep enough to score a run. We shall see. The left fielder, Dalton, catching the ball. Runner at third tagging. Here comes the throw. It is cut off. The Dogs score as Lane Adams hustles home. The Dogs have scored 2 here in the top of the third, and they lead 5-1. And Brandon Helton drives in his 3rd run of the season. So DR will have to pitch around that. Of course, he walked the leadoff guy in the 2nd inning, and they scored a run. Here's a bunt up in the air. Kyle Knight dives. He caught the ball. He flips it toward the first base bag. The Dogs get a double play on a one-hopper to the second baseman, Noah Anderson. That is the best play that Kyle Knight has ever made in his Bulldog career. Diving on a bunt down the first base line. And then 2 dogs were over there, D.R. Meadows and Noah Anderson, and Kyle threw the ball into the ground, and it hopped over to Noah, and the Dogs get 2. When I think of Pat Schofield, I think of Taylor on the morning show doing her Pat Schofield impression. Ball is popped up in the air, and back goes Lane Adams, a shortstop into the outfield grass, makes a one-handed catch right in front of Brandon Helton, the left fielder, for out number 3. We'll talk more about Coach Schofield when we come back. But the Bulldogs are still leading 5-1 as we head to the 4th inning on Y101. 5-1 Bulldogs leading top of the 4th. And there's ball 4 to Kyle Knight. So there is his 6th walk of the season. I feel a little misting action right now as Coach Brian Fitzgerald comes out. He's going to make a change at first base and bring in some speed. He's got 96 hits in his Bulldog career. And the pitch. And he swings and hits it off the third baseman's glove. And Millwood can't handle it. Neither can the shortstop, C.J. Thomas, on the deflection. That was a real hard-hit ball. Could that be DR's 97th hit of his career? And brings up Dalton McBride. He's 1 for 2. So McBride looking for a good pitch to hit and drive in a run. There's ball 4 to him. Bases are loaded for George Lukey. Pitch to George, swings and lines it. One hopper to the second baseman, not able to handle it. Bounces into right field. The Dogs score 1. The Dogs score 2. Trey Cloud and Bryce DeLoach, the courtesy runners, coming in to score as the Dogs take a 7-1 lead. 3 balls and 1 strike on Lane. Now the rain has stopped again. It's been off and on and off and on. 3-1 pitch, low, bouncing away. Runner break it in from third, and scoring is Dalton McBride to give the Bulldogs 8. The coaching staff, Brian Fitzgerald and pitching coach Nick Hayes, love first strike pitches. They want you to be out in front. Pitches hit up into the air to right center field. Lukey running back toward the fence. His ball is gone. A solo shot by Judd Roberts makes it 8-2. So in the last 3 innings, the Leopards' leadoff guy has walked, reached on an error, and hit a solo shot. The Bulldogs, of course, they played Dodge many, many times, including twice last year, and they split. Grounder toward Lane Adams near the second base bag. Scoops it and throws, and got him. 2-2. Slider is hit right side, right toward the line. Dalton McBride running, and he dives, and he makes a catch in foul territory. Dalton used his speed to run that one down. Dogs holding the 8-2 lead, bottom of the 4th in game 1 of the best of 3. And DR's 1-2 pitch called strike 3, and that is out number 3. DR, 65th strikeout of the season, 143rd of his Bulldog career. But Judd Roberts hits a solo home run to cut the Dog lead down to 6 at 8-2 as we head to the 5th inning of a 7-inning game on Y101. And of course, he used to be a Bulldog football coach when Mark Stroud was around. Helton's hit by a pitch. He'll run down to first base. Him right now, but just in case it gets darker with the clouds, another pitch out of the zone, 3-0 on Kyle Knight. So he was on base constantly in the Laney series, And in fact, in that series, he walked twice and was hit by a pitch once. And he's taken all the way, high and inside, ball 4. So suddenly, he has surged to 7 walks on the season, and most of them in the playoffs. DR has a base hit today, and Dalton has a base hit. The Dogs are trying to keep this trend going of scoring in every inning since the first. Martin swings and lines it into left center field, and it drops in for a base hit. Not caught by the left fielder Dalton, and the Bulldogs will score a run, hustling to the plate as Brandon Helton to put the Dogs up 9-2. Martin Stevens going backside with a looping shot, and Dalton almost made the catch out there. But Martin having another good game at the plate for the Toombs County Bulldogs in the state playoffs. So 3-1 on the Bulldogs senior. Here comes a pitch from Riley, and that's ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Because you swing at the strike and you take one out of the zone. And Dalton swings and hits it right side. Jaden Clark bobbled the ball. The Dogs will score a run, and everybody's safe. And the Bulldogs are in double digits. They hit double digits twice, of course, at Laney in a 14-3 and 15-0 pair of victories. And now they got 10 on the board, leading 10-2 in the top of the 5th. So the bases are still loaded for the Bulldogs, and the number 3 hitter coming to the dish, who coincidentally wears number 3. The senior George Lukey entered the game with a .400 batting average at a 9-game hitting streak in which he was hitting .529. And he sends one into right field for a base hit. That scores Martin Stevens. And here comes a throw to the plate from the relay man, and safe there. Another run coming in. And this time the Bulldogs will make an out. Dalton McBride out. So they scored 2. Coach Fitzgerald sending McBride as that ball got away slightly to the right of home plate, but not too far, and just a little shovel, little throw from the catcher to the pitcher for the out. The Dogs lead by 10, 12-2. Oh, one pitch, hit into the air to left center field. Lukey running back. Lukey's under it. Lukey catches a liner. 1 down. Righty-righty matchup. DR's first pitch. Popped up in the air in the infield. DR calls for it. Everybody backs away, and DR gloves it. 2 down. DR's ready. A 1 pitch. Grounder to Lane Adams. Scoops it up. Flips it to second, and the Dogs win game 1, 12-2. They once again take care of business in the postseason. They've opened up with 3 run rule victories. 2 over the Laney Wildcats, and they beat the Leopards in game 1. DR Meadows pitching a 2-hitter. And, of course, the Bulldogs scoring in every inning but the first. And we'll take a break and wrap it up on Y101.